Hi, everyone. I'm Christopher Thornycroft with Redwood Logistics, and welcome to the Redwood Rundown for the week of January 27th, 2025. We are at the week of the Lunar New Year. What happens with the Lunar New Year? Well, we've had our massive push of imports from Asia coming our way. That has been going on. It has been a push that's rivaling 2021 as far as just the sheer volume that's coming our way. And a lot of that is trying to get out ahead of the new executive administration and potential tariffs. But then a lot of it is just trying to get that out ahead of that Lunar New Year. Because remember, when that takes place, you have this huge land migration, essentially, that takes place of people that are leaving the factories in Asia, and they go across thousands of miles, visit their relatives, friends, and families, and then it takes them weeks to come on back and get back on and get production back again. So the freight that we are going to get from Asia for February is essentially just shipped on off as of this week, and then production will stop. So we will have a big push of freight that's coming our way that will come in between the next 15 to roughly 30 days. And then after that, you're going to see a big lull out there as far as import volumes. Now, the import volumes that hit, it's interesting that in Q1, a lot of that import volume hits the East Coast. Why is that interesting? Well, that's really interesting because the East Coast does not utilize intermodal service as much as the West Coast does. The West Coast, everything that comes on in, for the most part, unless you've got some hard deadlines, that stuff's mostly going to go intermodal. But when it comes on to the East Coast, a lot more truckload gets utilized. So that should impact that for higher truckload volume that's coming on in and give a little bit of a boost to that in February. Now, February in general is a low volume month. I mean, the best of times are behind us, right? The Super Bowl is over. You don't even get to the Miami Open until later, so we're not having any fun anywhere. Definitely not in Chicago. February, like one of the worst winter months that you can get. It's great. It's cold. No one wants to do anything here. But overall, we're looking at like generally a low volume month. If we can get a little bit of volume out there in that higher trucking environment, that'll be really accepted. A lot of carriers will look forward to that. In the meantime, leading up to February and knowing that some of our hard dates have already been cut as far as shipping prior to the Super Bowl, we are looking at that lower volume environment. So what's going to happen? Our bet is you're going to start to see that OTRI start to tumble. You're going to start to see your spot opportunities start to go on down. You're going to see if you're a shipper, you're going to see a little bit higher contract acceptance out there. But the problem is how much of rate are carriers willing to give up at this point in time? Because carriers are hanging on by their fingernails trying to stay in the business. Keep in mind, you can like carrier authorities, not like carrier authorities as far as something to track. We don't love tracking them, but they're still down 2,000 authorities from December to January so far. So they're still coming out of the market. That's still coming fast because even with the profitability that maybe some of them found in December and early in January, it's being washed away and there's not enough volume to keep them ongoing. So those carriers, they're not really willing to give up on rates. It's going to take a really low volume environment for those carriers to really come on down. If it's not a really low environment, do all of a sudden brokers get stuck in that really tricky position in the middle? We'll find out. It really has to do with how much volume does come into the market and how much just leaves and doesn't come on back until we get closer to the back half of March, where we generally see that pickup of volume start once again as you get to the end of the first quarter and orders have to be shipped out. Plus you start to see a little bit of that trickle down as far as manufacturing, construction, those things starting on up. So that's where we're at in the market. Watch your East Coast freight. It's going to get a little bit more interesting over the next couple of weeks. We'll talk to you soon. Take care.